Hello everyone, we are Group 13 and today we will be presenting our research project titled Inducing the Internationalization of Family Manufacturing Firms from a Transition Context. Our presentation is organized as follows. So for one, we will start with the introduction to give some background to the study, then we will cover the theoretical background. And for the third part, we will do the research context and method, describing the study approach and the firm involved. And for the fourth part, we will present the research finding and highlight the key insight from the study. After that, we will dive into the discussion to interpret the results. And as for the sixth part, we will do the policy implication, limitation, and future research, discussing like practical recommendation area for further study. And finally, we will apply the finding to a Canadian company, Landmark Corporation, to see how this insight can help in its internationalization effort. Thank you, and let's get started. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here today. We will be presenting a study that explores how family-owned manufacturing firms in Bulgaria begin exporting to international markets, especially in a challenging economic environment. So this study focuses on firms operating in Bulgaria, a transition economic where like company often face limited government support, high level of bureaucracy and unstable markets. So despite these challenges, many family-owned business in manufacturing such as like those in the wood, food and engineering sector successfully expand to foreign market. So the study looked at 9 companies, all owned and managed by families, to understand how they achieve this international goal. The research found 3 main factors driving their success. So we have the entrepreneurial influence, the personal drive, the mindset and social connection of the owner manager were like very crucial to their success. We also have the firm characteristic, the family ownership structure allowed like for good decision making, flexibility, enabling this firm to adapt and compete internationally. So we also have the economic context. The difficult local economy actually motivates this firm to look outdoor for growth and stability. Now let's look at the theoretical background and key question for this study. So this research builds on theories about how small and medium-sized enterprises, especially family-owned ones, expand internationally. Many studies have found that family firms are often more risk-averse and tend to focus on local markets because of limited resources and the tendency to stick to the traditional way of doing business. But this study wanted to dig deeper into whether family-owned firms in challenging economic or complex economic situation like Bulgaria would actually choose to internalize early on, and if so, what factor would push them in that direction? The study was guided by 3 questions. The first one was like, what motivates family-owned manufacturing firm in a challenging transition economy to expand international, especially to exporting? And the second one was like, how do specific factors like the mindset of the owner, the structure and the resources of the firm can influence this decision? And the third one is, how does the unique family ownership structure impact their ability to go international? So in short, we can say like this study aimed to find out how family firms in Bulgaria make internationalization decision and what gives them the push to compete in foreign market. And the next thing we will do during our presentation is we will apply this finding to a Canadian company called Dynamar Corporation to see how this insight can help support its international growth.
Here we'll be looking at the research context and methods. To begin with, why was the manufacturing firm in Bulgaria selected? What's so special about it? It was discovered that the firm focuses on the Bulgarian family manufacturing firms for examining internalization due to the unique position as a transition economy. The Bulgarian family SMEs plays a vital role in economic growth especially given the structural gaps and history of large conglomerates transitioning into smaller firms. The manufacturing firm was chosen because they represent a significant share of the Bulgarian SME with notable international presence. The method used for the research. A qualitative approach was adopted with semi-structured interviews as the primary data source, targeting owners and managers involved in internationalization decisions. Data triangulation included interviews, documentary of evidence, and on-site observation. 9 Bulgarian families were chosen, and there were some criteria based on picking this 9 family. Is it family owned? Does it operate in manufacturing sector? And do they have fewer than 250 employees? These are some of the factors put in place to pick the sample size for this research. Further in the methodology, the data was analyzed with a combination of inductive and deductive coding. Inductive coding allowed for insights to emerge directly from the interview, while deductive coding helped to apply existing theories on internalization to interpret the findings. The research used interpretative approach to analyze the owner's perspective, focusing on understanding the subjective experiences of these entrepreneurs. Now to the research findings. It was discovered from the study that factors impacting SME internalization within a transition economy like that of Bulgaria are influenced by a combination of the entrepreneurial specific factor, the firm specific factor, and the context specific factor. The entrepreneur specific factors include the background of the founders, that's the education, the knowledge of foreign language, international experience, international orientation. Their commitment and mindset played a central role in enabling early internalization by helping them navigate foreign markets and build trust with overseas clients. The firm-specific factors. This is the family resources, particularly the ownership structures that provided advantage like quick decision making, allowing prompt response to internationalize opportunity. Additionally, this firm focus on niche marketing positioning, product quality, and flexibility in meeting international standards, which are essential for securing and maintaining foreign partnerships. The context-specific factors. The industry and the volatile domestic market in Bulgaria, with a limiting purchasing power and lack of institutional support, motivated firms to seek more stable and higher value markets abroad. Despite the minimal support from local institutions, some firms use existing social capital and professional networks to overcome the disadvantage posed by the transition economy. From this table that illustrates the family ownership structure and highlights export-oriented behavior, it was also confirmed from the study that most firms displayed proactive behaviors towards actively pursuing international markets through direct communication, trade fairs, and visits to potential clients. Even though a few firms followed the reactive approach, where foreign clients approached them first, but the study notes that it was not common. So this study established that the Bulgarian family firm in transition economy intentionally and proactively navigates both internal resources and external challenges to achieve successful internalization.
A variety of factors contribute to the entrepreneurial characteristics and their influence on internationalization. 4 primary drivers affect internationalization. These include entrepreneur-specific, network-specific, location-specific, and business-specific. Entrepreneur-specific internationalization drivers are such that the entrepreneur sees opportunities globally and is ready to pursue them. Network-specific drivers leverage the business leader's personal and professional networks in order to garner more business. Location-specific drivers are typically arising from the limited client base in the domestic market, so the business leader looks to expand abroad and export rather than sell domestically. Business-specific drivers are such that the business model usually has an international orientation from the start. They look at opportunities globally as well as domestically. Similarly, the international orientation would be another characteristic on its own, as is motivation, international experience, and network connections. There's two types of network connections. One is leaving a partner across national borders, and the second is leveraging social contracts. Social networks can act as a catalyst for export inducement. Informal networks are prevalent in transition economies, where the industries and government and policies are not yet as established as in domestic economies. And then social and professional contracts usually help family firms. Transition economies face multiple restraints and make strategic responses. A family firm accessing information resources. This is limited by the lack of internal knowledge within the company and reliance on social and professional contracts in order to access information and resources. The characteristics of a transition economy include volatility, political system changes, economic liberalization, restructuring, and private sector development, liberal trade policies, and low purchasing power. All of these characteristics define a transition economy as being separate from a developed economy. However, they also pose their own risks and opportunities. Family ownership can successfully lead to fast decision-making and overall success in business. There's an inseparability of ownership and control, and internationalization is often the key to their success because they can operate fast internationally and reach a larger client base. This study has a variety of implications on policy. Supporting family firms to develop social networking spaces, encouraging socio-economic linkages, removing barriers, and increasing the number of internationalizing family firms is excellent. By investing government resources to nurture relevant knowledge, experience, self-awareness, and entrepreneurial spirit, governments can support internationalization for their local businesses. This study faces some limitations. Primarily, there's two. The inclusion of firms from only one industry restricts the generalizability of the results and limits the external validity of the study, because this study cannot automatically be attributed to other industries. And then secondly, the study only studied 3 sectors, so it yields inconclusive results. More firms would have resulted in more comprehensive results. Further exploration should probably be done to diversify the results of this study. If the research organization were to conduct additional research and studies, further research should compare this versus that. Family firms versus non-family firms, first-generation owned versus second-generation owned firms, family-owned and professionally managed versus family-owned and managed firms. These differences would result in interesting and useful data for governments looking to add funding for certain entrepreneurial and internationalization programs, as well as companies looking for comparisons and data for their own purposes in new ventures.
Now let's explore how the internationalization of family manufacturing firms applies to a Canadian company, which in our case is Linamar Corporation. Linamar, a leading advanced manufacturing company, serves multiple industries including mobility, agriculture, medtech, and access solutions.
with over 26,550 employees working in more than 60 manufacturing locations and 28 sales offices across 17 countries. Linamar reported a substantial $6.5 billion in sales in 2021. This vast international presence makes Linamar an excellent case for examining how a family-led enterprise can effectively expand across global markets. Linamar was founded with a clear vision and a strong entrepreneurial spirit, evolving into a global powerhouse over 10 years. The company's broad industry reach, innovative products, and dedication to quality underscore its position as a leader in the advanced manufacturing sector. With a global workforce spanning North and South America, Europe, and Asia, Linamar exemplifies how strategic expansion can enhance a family-led firm's competitive edge on an international scale. Entrepreneurial drive and family leadership. Linamar's international expansion closely reflects the proactive approach observed in Bulgarian family firms. Founder Frank Hasenfrat's entrepreneurial vision was foundational to Linamar's initial growth. His daughter Linda Hasenfratz took over as CEO in 2002, driving further expansion with a strong focus on quality, efficiency, and competitiveness. This family-centered ownership has enabled Linamar to stay agile in seizing market opportunities and facilitating expansion into regions such as the United States, Europe, and Asia. Commitment to global growth. Similar to Bulgarian SMEs, Linamar's family ownership supports a steadfast, long-term commitment to global growth. With a hands-on leadership approach, the Hasenfratz family exemplifies how family ownership allows for quick adaptation to new opportunities. Their leadership model aligns with our study, underscoring the advantage family firms hold in responding swiftly to emerging markets. Leveraging industry connections. Like Bulgarian family firms that capitalize on social networks, Linamar has leveraged its industry connections to establish a strong international presence. Its reputation for reliability and quality has secured contracts with major automakers including Ford, General Motors, and Volkswagen. These relationships have been instrumental in allowing Linamar to enter markets where it has limited direct operations, showing how social and professional networks can overcome entry barriers in foreign markets. Supplier and client relationships as catalysts. Linamar's close relationship with original equipment manufacturers and Tier 1 suppliers have also been crucial to its global growth, particularly in Asia's competitive automotive sector. These partnerships mitigate risks and provide the local knowledge essential for navigating regulatory challenges. This relationship-driven strategy echoes our findings that social capital can bridge critical knowledge gaps, easing Linamar's entry into new markets and solidifying its international standing.
Next, I'll discuss how Linamar navigates domestic and foreign market dynamics, focusing on two main areas. Firstly is the stability versus expansion risks. So, unlike the Bulgarian firms in the study, which operate in highly volatile transition economies, Linamar actually benefits from Canada's stable regulatory environment and strong institutional support. This provides a predictable framework that reduces some risks for the company domestically. However, Linamar still faces certain challenges. Recognizing the fluctuating demand in the North American auto sector, the company strategically prioritizes international markets to diversify its customer base. This approach not only increases its revenue, but also hedges against the risks of relying too heavily on North American demand. By expanding internationally, Linamar strengthens its resilience, ensuring that it can better withstand potential downturns in its primary market. Next, we look at its product specialization and market positioning. Linamar's commitment to high quality, specialized automotive components actually parallels the findings of the research paper regarding niche positioning as a competitive advantage. So rather than competing solely on price, Linamar emphasizes quality, ensuring it meets global standards, including certifications like ISO. This dedication to quality has established Linamar as a trusted name abroad, allowing it to compete on factors beyond cost. Much like the Bulgarian firms in the research paper, Linamar leverages its niche expertise and reputation, which is essential in international markets where differentiation is critical for attracting clients who prioritize reliability and precision. Now let's dive into the implications for Linamar Corporation, and we have identified two major implications. The first implication is the expansion opportunities for Linamar in transition economies. Denmark could consider expanding into Eastern European countries like Poland or Romania, where the automotive industry is growing and investment in manufacturing is on the rise. For example, they could form a partnership with ArcelorMittal, the largest steel producer in Poland. With its experience in developed markets, Denmark has both the expertise and established networks to set up a solid position in these regions. These markets share similarities with Bulgaria's developing industry, making them attractive options for Linamar. The implication is that Linamar's prior success in established markets can be leveraged to manage operational complexities and build a local presence through network-based partnerships. Linamar is also able to undertake risk mitigation in new markets. They might look to the Bulgarian firm's approach of forming partnerships with local family-owned companies. Collaborating with these firms and using local networks could help Linamar gather key market insights, establish distribution channels, and manage regulatory requirements in these new regions. For example, a partnership with ArcelorMittal, which is also a family-owned company, will enable Linamar to ensure they are compliant with government entry requirements in Poland, which in turn decreases political risk. Furthermore, ArcelorMittal will be able to provide insight on ideal distribution strategies, vital consumer insights, along with necessary local market-related skills. This can also allow Linamar to tap into Poland's educated workforce while maximizing their potential in one of the best locations for automotive ventures. This network-driven strategy allows Linamar to expand gradually and carefully, a strategy that aligns with Linamar's cautious yet opportunity-driven growth approach. The second implication is strengthening Linamar's competitive position through family ownership. The first point here is agility in strategic decision-making. Much like the Bulgarian family firms, Linamar's family ownership structure enables quick, well-aligned strategic decisions without the typical bureaucratic delays. This agility is particularly valuable in the fast-evolving electric vehicle, or EV, component market, where opportunities must be seized quickly. This family-led ownership reduces the time needed to make and implement key investments, especially in high-growth sectors like EVs. We also have commitment to quality for competitive advantage. Linamar's emphasis on producing high-quality automotive components directly reflects the study's findings on niche-focused, quality-driven competitiveness. By continuing to innovate and maintain high standards, Linamar can secure a stronger market position, especially when facing lower-cost competitors from emerging economies. Quality in this case becomes Linamar's key differentiator. Now let's look at some key recommendations for Linamar's international growth strategy. Firstly, Linamar should pursue government-supported internationalization initiatives. Linamar could greatly benefit from existing Canadian government programs, such as Canadian export programs designed to support international expansion. For example, by utilizing trade missions and export incentives, Linamar could access financial incentives, participate in trade missions, and receive regulatory support to help reduce entry barriers in new markets. Just like the policy suggestions in the study for Bulgarian firms, these Canadian initiatives would make Linamar's internationalization efforts more cost-effective and sustainable, helping the company strengthen its presence in new regions. Alongside trade missions, Linamar should also participate in industry conferences and networking programs. These government-backed events and networking initiatives offer valuable access to foreign buyers, suppliers, and industry experts who can help Linamar better understand and navigate complex foreign markets. By establishing connections with these stakeholders, Linamar could more effectively overcome entry barriers, build distribution networks, and create long-term market opportunities abroad. The next recommendation for Linamar is to expand its social networks to facilitate market entry. The first step here is to develop local partnerships in new markets. Linamar should build relationships with local family-owned businesses and other trustworthy partners in its target markets. These partnerships provide crucial market insights, help with regulatory compliance, and ensure reliable distribution channels. As earlier mentioned in our presentation, forming a partnership with ArcelorMittal would be a great strategy for Linamar. The company is one of the world's 5 largest producers of iron ore and a leading supplier of quality steel, both of which are widely used inputs in the auto manufacturing sectors. They also concentrate almost 50% of the polished steel industry, mainly due to their innovation and research and development efforts, which leads to development of smarter steels with increased strength, safety, efficiency, and sustainability. Considering steel is the largest component in an automobile, a partnership with a steel company can allow Linamar to gain a competitive advantage. As the study highlights, this network-driven approach is especially effective for family-owned firms entering emerging markets, where local knowledge and support are invaluable. Additionally, Linamar could leverage diaspora networks for market knowledge. In markets with a significant Canadian or diaspora presence, Linamar could tap into these networks to better understand local preferences and establish a cultural connection with consumers. This approach not only bridges knowledge gaps, but also fosters a smoother transition into unfamiliar markets, strengthening Linamar's internationalization efforts overall. In conclusion, our analysis of Linamar Corporation reveals how it embodies the success factors outlined in the research on family-owned firms' internationalization. Like the Bulgarian family firms in the study, Linamar's growth has been driven by family-centered leadership, which has enabled swift decision-making and a long-term commitment to global expansion. The entrepreneurial vision and persistence of the Hasenfratz family align closely with the research findings that family ownership fosters agility in seizing market opportunities abroad. Linamar's strategic focus on quality and leveraging social networks also reflects the study's emphasis on niche positioning and social capital. By building strong industry partnerships and focusing on high standards, Linamar has successfully navigated entry barriers in diverse international markets, demonstrating the value of a network-driven approach identified in the paper. As Linamar continues to expand, the principles highlighted in the research, agility, quality, and strong networks, will be central to maintaining its competitive edge globally. This example of Linamar, guided by the insights from the research, shows how family-led companies can balance tradition with innovation to thrive internationally. Thank you for listening to our team's presentation. We hope that you found this informative and insightful.